So hi Rafie, welcome to Chrome Talkies.
Hello, hi. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Yes.
What brings you to APAC?
I'm here, on behalf of NRF 2025, Retail's Big Show Asia Pacific, right, which is Asia Pacific's most important retail trade event happening from the 3rd to the 5th of June 2025 in Singapore this year. And my visit here is twofold. First of all, I've never been to India, and this is great opportunity when my boss is like, "Would you like to go?" Of course, I want to come to India, right? And the other thing is to understand, the retailer's perspective here about some of the issues and challenges that they're facing, and also to learn more about some very uniquely Indian things such as quick commerce, which is, from what I understand from my conversations with people here, taking the world by storm. Yeah. Right. And we have a session actually.
And how does it compare to Malaysia or from where you come from, the markets that you kind of represent?
So we don't have quick commerce 5-10 minute deliveries. We don't. Yeah. Right. We have food deliveries can take maybe an hour or so and all that. When it comes to we're far. Yes, you are. We're far enough along in the e-commerce revolution to say traditional e-commerce, right? In our part of the world means 3 to 4 days, up to a week for delivery of goods, right? Yeah. And that's how things are. Some retailers are starting with same day delivery, right? Some grocery stores and all that, are doing like 3 to 4 hours, maybe 6, that kind of thing. But nothing on the scale of what India is doing. And we're here to learn. We're here to understand, the issues that retailers are facing. What are the challenges in quick commerce, and and wanting to understand also, because India is we have a fascinating, beautiful country, by the way, and like a lot of the a lot of the issues in retail in India are a microcosm of what's happening in the wider world of Asia Pacific retail. When we talk about, say, cross-border expansion, where a retailer in Japan going to open a store in Malaysia, for example, it's sort of mirrored here, where a company that's based in the north, in Delhi, for example, wants to open down south. They are coming into a completely different linguistic and cultural context, and so there needs to be
many countries
exactly, yes. and it's like the sorts of insights that that we can glean from what we learn here in India, or what insights that are discussed in NRF APAC, where we talk about cross-border expansion. We believe that there's a lot of learning, shared learning that we can find there. So, yeah.
Do you think quick commerce will probably impact the ground retail? I mean, do you think it's impacting their business?
I think so. I mean, just from my layman's understanding of what quick commerce is all about, I believe it will, and it would. There's this question of where does that leave smaller businesses?
How do you protect the rights of retailers on ground?
That's a good question. I honestly wouldn't even know where to start with that sort of conversation, because there's so many considerations when you look at how quick commerce is both like a regional thing, while also being a hyper localized issue at the same time. How do you protect your kirana stores, as they call it? How do you protect them? And then how do you then also walk that line between, say, intervention versus free market growth, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what is the line there, right? Mm-hmm. And that is an incredibly fascinating question. I don't have the answers. I'm here to learn. I'm going to be asking a lot of questions to delegates here to try to find out. Yes,
absolutely. And I'm so happy to when somebody like India, you like coming to India.
I love the food, especially the food. Yeah,
especially the food. Yes, great. We all do. We all are having conversations around AI here. Automation is becoming like the buzzword. I mean, you can't really every business has to embrace it, unconditionally. Otherwise, there is no future. What is your thought process?
I think the thing is that, again, AI is actually something that we're definitely going to cover at our conference, and everybody in India, please come, because we want to talk about the question of AI, because it means different things to different people. For some, it means front end, applications. You're talking about product customization, customer service, right? But for some, for others, it means back-end optimization. You're looking at demand forecasting. You're looking at inventory management, right? So the thing is that the question of AI is, it's different things to different people, right? And that's the second part of the question. Because the first part of the question is, are you even ready? Is your data in order? Do you have information that can be used by machine learning in order to then derive insights that you would then use in your AI application? Mm-hmm. And the thing is that the conversations we've had with retailers from around the Asia Pacific region, up to 80% don't have their data in order. They have siloed verticals, they have legacy systems. Plenty are still running on carbon copy paper. How do you then bring AI to these people? How do you bring the concept of that? And so it's a two-part question. First of all, is your data in order? And second of all, what does AI actually look to you once your data is in order? And
what are you going to do with it?
Exactly. We know what insight.
That's most important.
Exactly. And you also have the question of, is there any competitive pressure or economic pressure for me to adopt such a system? Because, AI is not cheap, no matter what form they take.
Yes.
Why would I need to adopt AI if I can throw bodies at the problem? If I'm in a market where human capital is not really, the cost of human capital is, significantly lower than what I would use for AI system, why would I need to pay for AI? So these are questions I think that
a lot of people that I was talking to since yesterday, they said that they kind of believe, that the human intervention and the AI together actually complement,
Yes.
and will probably be it'll be better because the human mind probably will have more time to kind of, instead of spending time in execution and operations, we had more time to kind of really think and strategize and put the structures together in much more clarity.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Okay.
My pleasure.
And please do come to Singapore from the 3rd to 5th of June.
Yes,
right?
I will write to you. I'll connect with you.
For sure.
I'll have your number.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Learn for all of us. All of us.
Yeah.
Learning never stops.
Yes.
With the way market is kind of moving and the way the dynamism of,
of course,
so you have no other option but to kind of keep adapting to the current
for sure.
times.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.